about me, but I ain't been feeling it lately. You say you're lucky, maybe not.
If you guys are new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, comment down below, and tell me guys what you guys think about this video. So in today's video, as you guys can see by the title, I am pretty much going to be talking about my experience being pregnant and also just how I dealt with my baby being in the Nicu for 3 months basically. So starting from the beginning, my pregnancy was horrible from the start. I actually found out I was pregnant back in March of 2018, and this is so weird to talk about it on camera, but anyway. So yeah, I found out I was pregnant back in 2018 of March last year. Pretty much I found out like 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. Now, you know, some like us girls, when we turn 21, we want to drink, we want to go out, like purchase our first drink, have fun. That wasn't the case for me. So I was very upset. But after a few weeks of like finding out that I was pregnant, a lot of the sickness started to come in. Oh my gosh. And I was pretty sick all the way up until the time I gave birth. It was very hard for me. You know, obviously your body goes through changes that you're not used to. And one of the most questions that people ask me is, do you know why your baby came early? And there's really not a clear answer. I mean, sometimes things just happen and you just gotta roll with the punches. But up until the time I gave birth, I was 26 weeks. So aka I was 6 months pregnant. And I went to the hospital 2 days before my water broke. Now, when I went to the hospital for pain, it was because my stomach was hurting really bad. Now, prior to getting pregnant, I used to get really bad stomach pains. A lot of the times, a lot of doctors would say I was getting cyst ruptures. So I don't know if that was happening at the time, or it could have just been that my body was going into labor and I was just having contractions. But when I went to the hospital, the doctors, they did the sonogram and everything like that, and they were like, oh, he's fine, he's just, you know, he's just stretching, just kicking you, and you know, just like his legs are just all the way up there, and you know, they pretty much said everything was fine. Deep down I knew it wasn't fine, but what are you gonna do, you know? Then 2 days later, now I'm a person that doesn't really sleep, so I was up at like 3 o'clock in the morning on Netflix watching Alex Strangelove, and good movie by the way. And a gush of water came out, or some type of liquid I should say, and I was like, what the hell, you know? I was like, okay, maybe I'm like peeing on myself, because I know like I've heard stories of people like peeing on themselves. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's happening to me right now. Why? So I went to the bathroom, you know, wiped myself up and stuff like that. I didn't really think anything of it. I put on a pad or whatever, just in case, you know, because I usually wear panty liners like all the time. So then I went to go lay back down. 30 seconds later, another gush comes out, and I'm like, bro, what the heck is going on? So after the second time, I'm like, okay, this is so weird. It just happened again, and I feel like I'm not peeing, but like, I don't know, because you know, I've never really been pregnant before. So then I went to go wake up my mom, because remind you guys, now it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I went to go wake up my mom, and I'm like, Mom, like a whole bunch of liquid is all over me. I feel like I'm peeing myself, but I don't know, it just keeps happening. And my mom's a nurse, she's an RN, so you know, she's like really sorry, but she's like, go bring me your underwear, so I can like smell it or whatever. And I'm like, ew, you want to smell my underwear? I'm like, that's so disgusting, but whatever. So I bring her my underwear, and immediately she knows that my water broke. So it's like now maybe like past 3:30 now a.m. and I'm on my way to go to the hospital pretty much. And when I got there, they did indeed tell me, yeah, my water broke and we're gonna try and do everything to stop my contractions, because I was having contractions. Although I really wasn't really feeling them that much, because when my water broke, I wasn't feeling any pain. I wasn't feeling any stomach pain like how I was 2 days ago before my water broke. So, and this is all happening in July of 2018. And then I had to get transferred from where I live, because they don't have the equipment to take care of a 26-weeker. They only can take care of a 29-weeker. So I had to get transferred to Orlando, down at Winnie Palmer, which was an amazing hospital, but we'll get to that. And yeah, so I ended up getting transferred to Winnie Palmer, but before I got transferred there, they gave me a shot that was supposed to help, like, you know, stop the contractions or anything, so that way he didn't come out too early. So I'm finally at Winnie Palmer. I get checked in and stuff like that, and they're still continuing to give me like the drugs and stuff. And 2 days of me being at Winnie Palmer, my contraction started up again, like really bad. And it's crazy because I was in a lot of pain, like stomach pains again, like how I was before. And when the nurse put the monitor on me, on my belly, to monitor him, there was no contractions on like the sheet of paper. So she had to call the doctor because I'm in so much pain, but there's no contractions on the piece of paper. And I'm like, well, there's something wrong because I'm in a lot of pain here. So she gets the doctor comes in finally after I'm like already crying and I'm in pain. And she, as soon as she looks down there, she was like, he's coming. And I was just like, I was crying. I didn't want him to come, not now. Like, I had so far to go. I wasn't due until November and it's July. So I'm like so scared. Like, this is my first pregnancy. Why is it going so bad for me? And I was like starting to hate myself. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I do something wrong that I wasn't supposed to do that is making him come? But, you know, they gave me the epidural because I decided to get it, knocked out. And then I woke up at like maybe 9 something. And then obviously the epidural wore off, because I think I got the epidural around maybe like 4 or 5, maybe, I'm not too sure, 5 maybe. And I called my boyfriend, because the only person that was with me at the time is my mom. So I'm calling my boyfriend and everyone to hurry up and come, because I'm like, he's coming, and I don't want to. So pretty much now, 10 o'clock in the morning, already gave birth. My mom is still the only one in the room with me. It's crazy because 30 seconds after I gave birth, my boyfriend finally makes it upstairs to the room and everyone else. And I'm just like, you guys suck. You guys missed the birth. I was so sad. I was like, wow, this pregnancy was horrible. And the birthing process. I didn't even get to have my poor boyfriend with me. But I had my mom, and she was my greatest support. So I'm glad I had somebody there and I wasn't by myself. So now, obviously, you know, he came early. So now you're gonna have to stay in the NICU for however long it takes, because you don't know what type of complications they're gonna have. Now, I ended up staying at the Ronald McDonald House, which was so neat that they had something like that for mothers and parents to stay, so that way they can be close to their child who are either in the Winnie Palmer or the Arnold Palmer Hospital. And just to talk about my experience and how I dealt with being in the NICU, it's hard. It really is hard. And I recommend having some type of support system, because if you're by yourself, it can be very difficult. Now, as a premature baby for my son, obviously coming with that, you have the breathing problems, because they don't know how to breathe outside the womb. They're not even supposed to be out yet. So you have to do everything that you can to keep yourself calm while watching your child have DSATs And desats is when their heart rate and their oxygen levels, they drop. So then now they can't breathe, and you have to help them breathe. You have to remind them, hey, you have to breathe. You're not in the womb, so you're gonna have to try. And that was probably the hardest part about being in the NICU, especially when he was smaller. And there were times when I didn't even want to pump anymore. There were just times when I just wanted to give up. I wasn't eating. That lasted for like 2 days. I was like depressed, especially when my boyfriend wasn't there. Like, yeah, I had my mom and stuff with me, but sometimes you want your significant other with you. And when he wasn't there, it was horrible for me. So it's definitely hard to sit there in the NICU. And for me, I didn't want to leave his side. I literally would sit in that hospital. I would get up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, pump, get ready, shower, do all that stuff, and walk down to the hospital and literally sit there all day. Sometimes I wouldn't even go eat. I would sit there all day until it was like nighttime, and then I would go back to the house and do it all over again. And I did that for like maybe a month straight. And then over that period of time, you know, the months pass by, he gets, you know, stronger, and that gave me a reassurance that, okay, you know what, he's getting better. I can start taking care of myself, which is what I should have been doing like in the beginning, but it's hard. You just went through this whole dramatic experience that you didn't think you would go through, so it's hard. So I started taking care of myself more. I started getting the rest that I needed, and eventually things were getting better. And sometimes you would feel like, wow, we just took 5 steps forward to get knocked back 15 steps back. Because there were times when he started to do really good, and then out of nowhere it's like he wasn't doing so good. So it's like, dang, are you serious? Especially when it comes closer to going home, and then he starts to take that step back. It's like you feel like you're never getting out of there. And for me, I was in that hospital with him for 3 months, all the way from July to October, the ending of October. So we actually were able to go home before his due date, and his due date was actually November 2nd. So we were able to go home, but going home, he had to go home on oxygen, and that's the one thing that I hated and I didn't want from the very beginning, because there were the nurses that were like, well, you know, some babies go home on the oxygen, and I'm like, no, that's not gonna be my son. He's not going home on that. We're gonna stay here for as long as he needs. But there was a time when his doctor was like, there's nothing wrong with him. He had no surgeries, no complications other than the breathing. There's nothing wrong with him. There's no reason to keep us here in the hospital if we don't need to be. He will go home on oxygen, but his doctor says, I'm sure that he's only going to need it for 2 more weeks. I'm like, oh, if it's just 2 more weeks, then let's just stay in the hospital, you know? But I mean, I understood. I was scared, because now you have to go home where there's no nurses and these nurses were with you every single day for the past 3 months to help you with your child. So it's like, to go home and not have them, I was kind of scared, because I'm like, okay, I've never dealt with an oxygen machine before, especially when it comes to having to go to his appointments. When we come home, we're gonna have to take a whole oxygen tank with us and all this extra stuff, tape the thing on his nose, the cannula, which he loves to pull out, by the way. Oh my gosh, he pulls that thing out all the time, and I'm like, you want to pull it out, but you're not breathing on your own. But it's hard. Most definitely hard. And you just got to keep your head up, keep praying, and definitely just try to take care of yourself as well as being there for your child, because it's not an easy route. It's definitely going to be hard, but it's an experience of a lifetime to watch them grow outside of the womb. It's weird and it's crazy, because you want to feel the kicks and you want to feel all that, but it definitely makes it worth it in the end. And I know there are some babies that don't make it, and may God be with them and their families. but I'm very blessed and happy that I get to have my son with me. So my NICU experience was a bumpy road, and I know others had it worse than me, but at the end of the day, we all were in the NICU. We're all going to graduate from the NICU. But you just definitely, the number one thing is to take care of yourself, because that's the only way you're going to be able to take care of your child as well, is by taking care of yourself. So I'm glad I did all that, and I'm glad to have my family and my boyfriend who was all there with me. But so now my son is he's about to be 8 months, but subtracting that, he's actually like 4 months now. So, but he's healthy, he's great. Everyone loves him. He's a chunky baby now. But yeah, that was my experience. My pregnancy wasn't the best. My birth wasn't the best. Staying in the NICU may have not been the best, but the aftermath of everything is definitely going to be worth it. And you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, wow, just look how small you were and look at you now. Couldn't even tell that you were a preemie. But guys, if you like this video, just please give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to know more or want me to go in depth about anything specific, just comment down below and tell me what that is, and I can definitely try and do that for you guys. So thanks for watching. Beckham says thanks for watching as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.